Hello, this is Miloš and thanks for watching the music news.
Miloš, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, hello.
Thank you. The new album Aranjuez is a celebration of the most popular Spanish works for guitar and orchestra, described as a journey across Spanish landscapes. Can you expand on that for us a little bit?
In the center of this recording I have a piece which is the most iconic guitar piece, the Concerto de Aranjuez. And at the same time it is a piece which is such a famous work throughout different genres. The main theme from this concerto, the second movement of the Adagio, is something that goes through so many different transformations through the hands and through the minds of different artists. So you can hear it from the arrangements for other classical instruments all the way to pop music and all the way to Miles Davis and Chick Corea, all the way to jazz, all the way to so many different ways, and yet we guitarists can call it our own. So I decided to, on this record, on this third record for Universal Music, focus on a piece which really changed the history of the guitar and which really kind of put the guitar out there and gave it its power. It completely changed the game for the instrument. So that's why I wanted to play Concerto de Aranjuez, but not on its own. And on the record I have paired it with another famous concerto, Fantasia para un gentilhombre, which was originally dedicated to Segovia, who was the greatest figure of the Spanish guitar in the 20th century, as well as solo works which all have a little history connecting and giving us that journey through Spain and through the evolution of the guitar through the 20th century.
Fantastic. Well, that piece, Concerto de Aranjuez, has been previously arranged by many musicians, including Miles Davis, Frank Sinatra, Jose Carreras, to name but a few. How does your interpretation differ?
It's not possible to find a concrete way to express how something differs when you do it if somebody else does it. You simply, with music, you have to let it be, and you allow it to go through your system and comes out, and you give it your own take just by allowing it to trigger those beautiful little things in you when you play it. And with a piece like this, or with any piece which is as famous as Concerto de Aranjuez, there is a reason why they are so famous. And this is simply because it's the most incredible music. It is the same if you think about the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto or the Four Seasons by Vivaldi or pieces like this. You don't give it anything specific, you just give it yourself. And by giving it yourself, you have given it your all.
Your life, yeah. The album was recorded at Abbey Road. It's a great space with the London Philharmonic Orchestra and Yannick conducting. Was that the perfect mix for you?
When I was thinking about this project, because really it is such an ambitious project for me, and the project of the largest scale from the other ones, I was thinking who would be the perfect partner. And concertos are a different thing from playing solo, because when you are on your own you are able to take as much time and create as much space around you as you want, because you are on your own with your guitar. But when you play concertos you are making music with 60 other people from the orchestra and the conductor, and it is a constant exchange of ideas and energy between those three parts. So for something which was so important and so personally meaningful for me, I wanted to have the team with which I felt comfortable. London Philharmonic Orchestra, I have to say, is the first international orchestra which ever gave me a shot at performing with them. And this was when I just graduated from the Royal Academy of Music, and I played with them in Brighton, and it was one of the scariest experiences of my life. But it was also a big lesson, and it was an important lesson to learn what it means to be an international soloist. And I have played with them ever since many times, and each one of those players in that orchestra feels like family to me, because we've been through so much already together. So I had no doubt in my mind that London Philharmonic would be the orchestra. But when it comes to the conductor, I was simply a fan of Yannick Nézet-Séguin, and I fell in love with him when he was conducting the Carmen at the Metropolitan Opera, and I love opera very much, so I just thought that nobody ever conducted this piece like this. So I got in touch and we were talking, and it just happened that he liked my work as well, and we decided to do it. And meeting Yannick really was the most amazing thing that ever happened to me musically, because when we met, it was like we knew each other all our lives, and we didn't even need to speak about music. We just allowed for the music to happen, and our understanding and the aesthetic about those pieces was actually very, very similar. So in Abbey Road we created the most magical atmosphere, which I will never forget until I die. And this project is such a labor of love of myself, but not only of myself, but also of Yannick and every single member of that orchestra. And that's why I feel so proud of this recording, because it's a true collaboration and true work of love.
Yeah, I've seen the setup. I was in there the other day with the orchestration. How long were we actually in there for the whole project?
We had 1 day for one concerto, which is actually very, very intense.
Jeez.
And it was really intense, and there were 2 consecutive days. And you know, on the guitar, we guitarists, we are much closer to like being singers, because singers can only sing so much, and with guitar it's the same, because you can only play so much.
Yeah,
you have nails and nails wear out. But we really wanted to do it, and we had all the will in the world, and we did it. And I remember at the end of those sessions, I felt like there is not even one note which I would have played differently. And it was the first time that I ever got that feeling. With first 2 albums it was different. I was exploring and searching and playing so many different styles and pieces, but with this one I just felt, okay, I've got it, and it's a very nice feeling.
Fantastic. On the iTunes album version, you've got the Lennon-McCartney classic Michelle.
Yes.
On there as well. What made you decide? Was it the Abbey Road influence that made you decide to add that to the?
Well, when you are in Abbey Road, I have to say that the spirit of Beatles is very much present in the air, and I thought it would be very cool if on iTunes, as something very special for iTunes, I would record this beautiful arrangement. And I have enjoyed playing this arrangement so many times in recitals and in concerts, because it's done by Toru Takemitsu, who is a very, very high-end classical composer, but he was in love with the European popular culture. So the arrangement is really unusual, and I adore it because it creates a certain musical and sound world which I like very much. So that's why it's on the record, just as a little homage to Abbey Road and the Beatles.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic.
And also, I have to say, I was thinking about this the other day, but since all the other composers are there because of what they've done for the guitar, to have Beatles on there as well is actually quite symbolic, because the guitar was such a big part of their world as well. And the music that was created and which moved into a different direction from the classical, but still it was a guitar. And as an instrument, guitar is the most popular instrument in the world, and it's not without a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you yourself started playing at 8 years old, but when did your love for the classical guitar, first evolve? Do you remember it all your life? Was it always there?
All my life I loved music, and I was really excited by music, and it was an influence, an impulse in me which was very strong from day one. And I liked to sing as a child, and then I wanted to play guitar because it was simply a cool thing to do. My family has no background in classical music or in music at all, but I just liked it and I wanted to do it. And that's how I started to play guitar, thinking that my journey with guitar will be strumming chords and singing songs. But instead of that, I, by chance, fell in love with classical guitar and felt it was the most magical thing of all.
Brilliant. And the album itself is an emotional journey, as your life has been too. You're from Montenegro, and the Yugoslav wars were at their height when you were a teenager. That's when you applied for the Royal Academy of Music and moved to London. How did that sort of war-torn part of your life influence your musicianship, as it were?
In the best possible way, because when things are difficult, the family comes closer, the friend comes closer. When you have something to attach to, like I had to attach to music, you feel it even stronger. And what is so important for me, and the fact that I grew up in Montenegro, is that I so early on realized that by being a musician and by playing this instrument, I'm able to create a beautiful world no matter what is happening outside of my world. And that when I play for people, that the light in their eyes will change, that something will change. And those experiences made me want to become a concert artist. Subconsciously or consciously, I don't know. But it is in the times of hardship when you realize the values. In Montenegro, at the same time, I have to say that things were difficult, but not nearly as difficult as in other republics of ex-Yugoslavia, like in Bosnia or in Croatia or in other places, because we did not have the hot war on our streets. But you find a way. It was hard for my parents, but they are amazing people. And I always thank them for being who I am today, because without their support and their endless encouragement and love, I really, really would not make my dreams come true.
Yeah, great. I mean, you went on to be named Classic Brits Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Did that open a new audience for you?
My career is relatively young, because I released my CD exactly 3 years ago, my first record. So exactly 3 years ago I became known to an audience. And in those 3 years we managed to create so much excitement for the guitar and so many concerts which were, in a true sense, unbelievable. Some of those concerts I have dreamed of having when I'm older and towards the end of my career.
Yeah,
they have already happened. I see young people in my concerts. I see teenagers who think classical guitar is cool and who ask me to sign their arm or their guitar. You know, all of these weird things which don't happen to classical musicians are happening, and it gives me such an incredible determination and strength to want to continue to work harder and to believe even stronger in my instrument and in what I do. When you win a big award, it's of course amazing, and I have won a lot of them. But the biggest award is your audience.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you see a young person who was inspired after you have played, that is the biggest prize you can possibly have. Yes, I'm absolutely thrilled and flattered to be Brit artist, classical Brit winner, and gramophone and all of these amazing accolades, and I'm so grateful. But I really am most grateful to the people that listen to me when I play.
Do you think that the classical guitar is somehow overlooked in the current music scene? Do you think it's got the place it deserves, or are you trying to bring it to the more popular audience?
Yeah, when I started, it was very different to how it is now. But at the same time, guitar is a very young instrument, and it continues its evolution, and that's why I wanted to, on this album Aranjuez, showcase the guitar through the most iconic works which made it arrive to the point where it is, so that I can conclude this period of an introduction of myself as an artist through the repertoire which is in the core of the instrument, and I can conclude showing to the people what we already have, and then move into other directions with which can be more collaborative and more innovative, and which can explore the guitar and how the guitar will continue in the future. You see, one of my biggest dreams in my life is to one day be able to discover and commission and make happen a new Aranjuez for the 21st century. A new concerto which will achieve this most iconic status as Aranjuez did. But in order to do that, and in order to progress, you must take a step back and reflect on history in what you already have, because without the past there is no future.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And what's in store for Miloš in 2014?
When I look at my schedule and when I look at the concerts which I have coming up, I sometimes find it hard to believe, and I feel I never forget how lucky I am. Because there are many people in this world who practice hard and work hard, and yes, there is a reason for everything, but there is also a little bit of luck. So when I see that in 2014 I will go from playing with LA Phil, Chicago Symphony, Cleveland Orchestra, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Munich, London, Madrid, Rome, everything. And these are the world's most respected and most amazing orchestras and festivals. And I'm a guitarist. it makes me feel really, really lucky, and it just makes me want to grab it with all I have and make the most of it and have the best time of my life. So I'm really looking forward to this year because it is such an exciting year on so many levels.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank
I
you.
mean, if there's you say you played the Royal Albert Hall, Roundhouse, various venues all over the world, is there a venue, specific venue that you haven't played yet that you're really looking forward to playing?
Let me think. I have to say, playing at the Albert Hall was one of my biggest dreams, to have this recital in the round on my own. And that already happened, and I can't wait for it to happen again, because I cannot think of anything more amazing than that. But if there are other places where I dream of playing, there are so many beautiful concert halls in the world, and some of which we even don't know about. And when the place has that magical acoustic or that magical feeling in the air, something changes in your hands and in your mind, and how you feel and how you play and perform that night, because every night it's a different energy, it's a different audience. So that's why life of a musician is most exciting thing, because it changes from night to night, it's always different. I have to say, I get really excited when I play in non-traditional venues, like the Roundhouse and like different clubs and places where classical music doesn't often feature, because I feel the sense of progress when I do that, and I feel that I have brought something that I do closer to the people that don't have access to it. So I would love to continue to keep that balance between what is traditional and in the core of my profession to what I can do in order to excite people, so that one day when they are maybe a little bit older and a little bit more patient, that they are the new audience for those big concert halls.
Fantastic.
No particular dreams, just to work hard and be happy.
Brilliant. Anything else you'd like to say to Music News watchers?
No, just a big hello and thanks for all the support, and yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks a lot for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great stuff.